Today is September the 16th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show. 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter. I am your host, and this is the show that shares the inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Our service hero today is a woman that many may know. She is on the international scene, well known and highly awarded in a variety of different areas. Yet she's just like the girl next door that knows how to do a lot and is doing it throughout the world. I want to celebrate the fact that today we have our service hero, Randi D. Ward, a woman that is an author, a teacher, and a mentor to people throughout the world, and so much more. Welcome, Randi. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. I love this.
Well, me too. And I want everyone to know right off the bat, guys, we are in the middle of current events. Oink, oink. Randi is in the Atlanta area. We believe we're going to be fine with Sally on its way. And for those that will be watching this in replay, Sally is a storm, right, Randi?
A big one. Dumping lots of rain.
And you believe that we'll be fine today, but you're like, okay, if this was tomorrow and you got stuff going on tomorrow, and tomorrow looks like it's going to be an interesting day, huh?
Yes, we may get 5 to 8 inches of rain in a short time. That's a lot. We're under a flash flood watch right now, but it's just raining, just rain, nothing serious yet. So fingers crossed.
Yes, and you know, we were talking about this, and I really want to bring this up because it's really, really seriously important, guys. The Girl Scout here is going to be talking about the fact that if there's standing water on the road and you're in your car and you cannot see the pavement, they say, turn around, don't drown. It is a real deal. And I will tell you, here in Southern California, you would think that there would not be that problem. Yet, we have had people that they decide to go in, drive through that standing water, they'll be fine, then they're swept away, and it's not a really great story that can happen. And so in your area and anywhere where there is water on the roadway, please turn around, don't drown. And we want to recognize, this is the Service Hero Show. We want to recognize all of those that are out there in many different places right now, having to take care of things like huge storms and huge fires and huge a lot of stuff. We've got pandemics throughout our world. We've got a few issues, wink wink, that first responders are out there and doing their jobs. I want to say personally thank you. And Randi, you know what that's like, right?
Yes, I have been some of those crazy situations in my life, but I'm a survivor. I always find a way to keep myself safe.
So let's talk about that. We're going to dive right in because you're a humanitarian. You are a woman that right now is, I mean, in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, you have been literally helping young people all over the world. Why don't we go right there, because that's relevant and it is current.
Okay, well, even though I'm a retired teacher, I'll always be a teacher. So when somebody asks for help, I have 5,000 Facebook friends, and you ready? 53 countries. I know that's insane, but I love it. So when they come to, then they need my help because many of them are trying to teach, learn English, and they're doing papers in English. I'm always there to help them. I've edited so many papers, and I used to teach online, but the time differences made it so difficult I had to stop that. But I did have 2 schools in Egypt at one time. I opened a Rise Up school for young adults, and then I had a nursery school with another partner, but all of them were Egyptian partners that I was, working with, and I loved them so much. But again, this was right after the revolution, and the economy was not supportive of schools, so we had to close. But I don't consider them as failures. I learned a lot. It was an amazing experience, and again, it was my way of helping people in other countries, especially Egypt at that time, who don't always have the best educational systems that we are so fortunate to have in the United States. So I just felt it was my duty to help them, and I'm still helping them when I can.
So we're going to dive deeper into that. And I want to recognize so many people that are here and they're sharing the love. We've got our ambassador of the chat, first ambassador of the chat, Helene Wilson, one of my buddies. Hello and welcome. And we have one of our senior ambassadors and also one of our producers for this show, Carol Beverzins. In fact, I was bragging with Randy before we went live because we were talking about sound and on and on. I'm like, don't worry, we got it. We've got a whole group that are there waiting to help us should we need them. So Carol, thank you for that. And we have Sherry McQueen. Sherry McQueen is one of our senior ambassadors. And if you have not seen her Service Hero show of, I believe it was a week or two ago, and you know anybody that has been affected by cancer, I just loaded it yesterday on to Instagram. So now it is even on the Instagram TV, IGTV over there. It's on all of the social media platforms. Of course, it is on the E360 TV app. She talks about something that everybody really should know is absolutely possible, yet some will call a miracle. Thank you for being here. And we have someone that looks like may know you saying the best. Yes, I'm thrilled. We want to see that many sound is perfect. Thank you very much, Carol. All right, so you mentioned Egypt, and I was like, okay. It couldn't be more interesting that we had this scheduled for a while, and we are in the middle of a couple current events. Yes. And I'm like, what'd you think? And you being true to who you are, you said, well, I've been so busy in helping my people, those that I mentor, those that I am helping through, that are throughout the world. And so we did some current events studying in regards to some of the things that have just recently taken place. So I just want everybody to know before we go here that Randy hasn't had a real chance to get deep into what is happening in, that neck of the woods with some of the current signings of documents and peace accords and some of those things. Yet you went to Egypt, and I have the dates here. You went to Egypt back in 2011, and you went for kind of a personal reason, and then you ended up staying and then going back. Let's talk about that, because Egypt is such a cool, I think of, the pyramids. I think of, we're going to get into that. I have some slides we're going to be showing in a little bit. And you think about, I love movies. So I go into, the big movies where they've actually filmed on set or, whatever it may be. But you actually were there. And then you were there during the current events of the time.
Yes. Well, okay. The first revolution for their democracy, Mubarak had been their dictator for 30 plus years. And the young people said, we need more independence. We want our freedoms. So in January of 2011, they had this big revolution. And on January 25th, 2011, they overthrew Mubarak. And there was a big celebration, but the country was in limbo. They didn't have any kind of government. Nobody was in charge. But it was relatively peaceful because they were so happy to get rid of Mubarak. So like the crazy woman that I am, and I say that with crazy in a good way because I'm always taking risk to try to help people and do things for myself. So in May, I got invited to a wedding of one of my Facebook friends. Well, I was supposed to stay at her house, but a lot of things happened, and that didn't happen. I ended up staying at this hotel, this five-star hotel in Giza outside of Cairo. I was the only guest there, and I was queen for the whole month because I'd planned to stay the whole month. Ended up going to another wedding of people I didn't know and being honored with that and getting to dance with the bride and groom. But long story short, while I was there, I had an opportunity to meet another Facebook friend who was opening an English language center called SYE, Spread Your English. And it sounded interesting. I had taught 37 years as an English teacher in West Virginia and Georgia, but the idea of teaching in another country, that was exciting. So I came home, I went to the school, and I visited, and I thought, I don't like what's going on here. I can do better. The teacher came out. So I went home and I thought, okay, I don't know if I really want to do that. My husband and my son were 100% opposed. 100% opposed. Now, whether you believe this or not, I have to share this story because it's the reason I went. About 2 months before I made my decision, I kept having this dream, and I never remember my dreams. And it was this voice that sounded like it could be God saying, Randi, I want you to go to Egypt. You have to go. These young people need you. I will protect you. You will be safe. Every night I had the same dream. And it got to the point that I thought, this can't be just my unconscious. This has got to be a message from God or some heavenly spirit telling me what to do. So despite my family saying, no, don't go, on November 3rd, I boarded that plane for Egypt by myself and stayed 3 months there. Well, ironically, I wasn't as safe as I thought I would be because 1 week after I got there, the second phase of the revolution started, and I was living 3 blocks from Tahrir Square, the center of the revolution where all the protesting was going on. Well, okay. There was a lot of violence. Yeah, there was a lot of violence. People were dying. I actually had friends getting hurt that would come to me and I would nurse them back to health. I had friends that actually died. It was very sad. But ironically, I guess maybe my defense mechanism, my wall built up. I was not afraid. I thought, okay, they're not really looking at me. Military police are after those protesters in the street. Those are the ones that they're attacking. So I just did everything I could in my power to stay safe. I was tear gassed because of my neighborhood, but I went to school every day. I was teaching 6 days a week for like at least 4 hours every day. I had like 9 different sessions of students during that 3-month period. And I wasn't about to shirk my duties and not be the teacher that I promised to be. Okay, so one night in December 2011, I was pretty frightened that night. A half block from my flat, there was a gun battle for 6 hours long. 120 people got injured that night and 12 people died. I did cry all night. Maybe not so much for my own personal safety, but I knew people were dying because I could hear them chanting. I could hear them screaming. But ironically and strangely, when the shooting and the noise and the chanting stopped, there was total silence. And I had to get up and teach that day. So do I go outside? Do I stay in the house? What do I do? So brave Randi decides, okay, you have to go to school. The kids will be there. So I went up to the place where the protesting had been. It was surrounded by barbed wire, but no trash, no people, nothing. It was really spooky. Luckily, the metro system was in the other direction, so I went to school. And people did come that day, but instead of me teaching my students, they had to take care of me that day with no sleep and a basket case because I was so upset. But it was wonderful. The people of Egypt were just wonderful to me and my students. And I still have great connections with many of them. Okay, one exciting thing did happen while I was in Egypt. On January 25th, 2012, the first year anniversary of the independence, I got to go and celebrate with 2 million people in Tahrir Square. I was probably one of the only Americans there. And I was so proud of myself because I put on a hijab and I, covered myself up so I would look like an Egyptian woman. I came out of the metro station and a funny story. The first person that saw me went, "Hi, American." How did you know?
American, huh?
He said, "Your blue eyes."
Oh, sure.
But I
Sure.
still celebrated. It was still amazing. I mean, to imagine 2 million people in one area celebrating, it was so crowded, but so awesome. And it was just an incredible day. It was, and I
Oh,
felt their passion. And as we know, in my opinion, their democracy has failed. They do have a president, but in my opinion, they don't have true freedom. And of course, true freedom is impossible, but their economy is worse than ever. The people are struggling more than ever. Everything is more expensive. So, and I know this because I talk to them every single day. So it's sad what's going on there. But the people of Egypt are absolutely incredible. Egypt stole my heart. And in fact, um, they call me Rary. My nickname is Rary. I really don't like it, but that's what they
really?
call me. So I had to become an Egyptian woman. So they said you need an Egyptian name. So your name is Rary.
Oh, that's an Egyptian name?
I guess so. That's what they told me.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
it's
That's
kind of like a version of
honorary.
Randy.
Yeah, that's from the heart. You know,
Yes.
that is very cool. That's total acceptance. In fact, I
Yes.
want to share some pictures here because you then ended up um, writing
Yes.
writing, right? And you've got your book there, and here's an image of your book about the experience there. And I mean, you've written a number of books, but however, this one here seems to be like the baby. This is the one that, like, I can't wait to get my hands on it, to be honest with you. And first of all, I love the image. The image. Who did your cartoon? You know, the image on there, because that's your face looking up,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Well, let me tell you about this book. Okay. All right. Remember the dreams I had about going to Egypt? Okay. When
Right.
I got home, I had taught writing for 37 years. Had I ever written a book? No, there was no time. I was evaluating everybody else's work. Okay. So I got those dreams again. That same voice, I swear, the same voice saying, okay, Randy, I kept you safe. You had an amazing experience, a life changing experience. It changed my life forever. I became more appreciative of being American and all my luxuries and all the wonderful things that I'm blessed to have. So 2 weeks after I got back, I started writing this book. I had taken thousands of pictures, okay? So I put 153 pictures in my book, contrary to what my publisher wanted, okay? All right, but that book happened in 3 months. And before I wrote one word, I thought, okay, Randy, you're a teacher. You're going to write it in English, but you want it to be translated in Arabic someday, which it still hasn't been. So when I wrote it in simple words as if you're sitting beside me and I'm telling you my story so that someday this can be translated into Arabic and other languages. So it's very simple. It's an easy read. It's a quick read, but you're going to meet all my friends, all my experiences. I did have a lot of fun experiences besides the revolution, but this cover that you like so much,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually designed by a real friend of mine. I told him I wanted to look like Egypt. And so he put me on this camel. I did ride a camel, but not in a dress with heels on. And I loved the way he made my arms and legs kind of squiggly, kind of showing how crazy I was. And
Mm-hmm.
the title of this book was done because of a Facebook contest. I could name every chapter, but I could not think of a title. So I decided, okay, I want it to be about me, but I also want it to be about Egypt. So I did a little summary of what the book was about, and about 75 people from all over the world entered this contest. And ironically, the two that I liked were written by Egyptians. One had been my student, and one was a dentist friend that I actually spent time with because I've spent time with a lot of Egyptians. So, Because I Believed in Me was written by one of them. My Egyptian Fantasy Came True was written by the other person. I put them together and I dedicated the book to these two people.
I love that story. That's amazing.
So it's
So
a true Egyptian book,
yeah,
the cover,
yeah.
the title, everything, the stories.
I love it. And okay, so I'm gonna go on here. So I believe in me. Here we go. And my Egyptian fantasy came true. I love how you did that. And I love knowing the story. It makes it even that much cooler. And yeah, the image and the feel of it, it just and your face imposed in, so the cartoon feel yet with your real face there. I love it. And then I have here some images of you as a teacher with some of your people that I mean, what do you think when you're seeing
Okay. All right.
this?
The picture with the flag, that was when I went back in 2013 at my school, Rise Up, that I opened, and I was doing a book talk with my book. Okay. Uh, the student below, the two pictures of the students you see were actual students, and they were in my book. So when I went back in 2013, I gifted them my book. The last book, or the last picture, Rise Up, that is my school. That is the emblem on our wall of our school that I loved, and those were some of my dearest friends, and also some of my students. And I was so proud to be the co-founder and owner of this school. It was a really amazing school, but as I said, the economy was not good at that time, and it could not support our school. So we did have to close after about a year. I could not be there. I was trying to teach via Zoom from the United States, and we hired some teachers to do that also. But it's just very difficult if you're not in that area and you're trying to run the business. But it was an amazing experience, and two of my male students actually were my partners with that school, and I'm still they're like brothers to me. They're like my sons. I love them to death.
And so your family stayed in the States and you went, okay. And you have the thing about the images that you have on your social media, I have to say, and I know I've been in classes with you now, or in some Zooms with you, Zoom rooms, and you have Saint Bernard. Is it the same Saint Bernard, or do you always have Saint Bernards?
Yes, four.
Four Saint Bernards. I love Saint Bernards. I had a Saint Bernard stuffed animal once, and not a real dog though. And I wanted one, but had the little the little thing here, like it was really a piggy bank.
Beer barrel. Yes.
Yeah, but it was a piggy bank, like a coin bank. Yet and I always thought that would be the coolest thing. And so I'm going to bring up here because let's see here. Okay, so I have these images that were. There you are.
Yes.
Fun.
A young Randi. That's my husband, Bill, who recently passed away in December. And my son, by the way, lives in Stuttgart, Germany. He is the art director for Reader's Digest. So we have another writer and publisher in the family.
Well done. Well done. Yes, and that's not surprising because let me get my cursor over here. Where is it? There we go. And because look at this. I love this photo right here of
writing my book.
A Bill right there, like right there supporting you. And there you are, and and then which one of the Saint Bernards is that one?
This was the third one. This was Annabelle. There was Sebastian, followed by Oliver, then Annabelle. And the one you can't see because I've got my blanket up there because she'll be peeking in. And I didn't want her to be part of the show, although she would have loved it. It's Savannah.
Savannah.
Yes.
Very fun. And so then, okay, so that's
Annabelle with my husband and me. That was her Christmas photo. She went to a Christmas photo shoot and she let us be part of it.
I absolutely love it. I love it. And thank you for allowing me to share those pictures because that's a big part of, I believe, your story too, in that here you're going halfway across the world for this adventure, for this opportunity. And truthfully, okay, so you have family that's concerned. There's some families that would say, you go, I'm not going to be here when you get back. And And then you see that picture of Bill right there watching you as you're writing your adventure story, the book. That right there says so much. And right now in this period of time, there are so many that this is a show that is inspiring stories to inspire others. And your stories are one after another are so inspiring. And the story of you going is inspiring. And then the story of really the support is inspiring too.
Well, my husband actually met me with a dozen roses at the airport when I came back. He waited for me. We were married for 48 years. He was my soulmate, you know. I mean, he was just worried about me, but he loved me. We would have never. The only thing that's ended us is his death in December, as you know. So
It was Okay, so Ruben is a retired Navy. He was a Navy SEAL, and he was there. He says it was Mubarak. I would have been there while she was there, so he was on the ground there at the same time that you were there. It sounds like as a Navy SEAL. What a small world, right?
mm-hmm.
I love this. Thank you for sharing, Ruben. Thank you for your service. And we did feature Ruben as a service hero just this last week. And so I want to say thank you. Yes, it was a week ago today, I believe. And I love to be here at the show. I keep learning. We have a joke in our organization, and she says that she's a junior geek because she's my buddy, and I'm a self-professed geek. I love to learn, love to learn. So,
Me too.
and so you mentioned your husband and being a soulmate, and I everyone, I want you to know I did ask because this is an important subject, and you did recently, your husband gained his wings, right, is what we call it.
Yes, yes, yes. On November the 14th, I took him to the doctor. He had been wheezing for months, and they kept telling him it was allergies. They were treating him for allergies because living in Atlanta, we have a lot of mold because it rains a lot, and we all suffer from allergies. If you don't have allergies when you move here, you do after you live here. It's just the way it is. So, but he was wheezing at night and awful, and I'm thinking, I'm taking you to the doctor, and we're going to get some X-rays. So they did some X-rays and discovered he had double pneumonia. It was not allergies. It was double pneumonia in both lungs. So I immediately took him to the hospital, and they started treatment. They did everything. They couldn't decide whether it was viral, bacterial, environmental. Nothing was working. Nothing. He was getting weaker and weaker, and nothing was working. He was still on oxygen and couldn't breathe. So my son from Germany came to visit because, he was worried about him. So on he was in the hospital 31 days, by the way. On December the 6th, they were going to do a lung biopsy because they thought, we have to find out what's causing this. So we were supposed to fly to Vegas because I was being named Female Visionary of the Year and being inducted into the Hall of Fame with International Association of Top Professional. It was a big deal. I'd already bought tickets. We were staying in the Bellagio. My husband said, because he loved me so much, Randi, I'll be fine. Go to the event. Okay, so I did. That night, I'm sitting in a cocktail party, celebrating with all the other awardees. My son contacts me on Facebook that they're not sure Dad's going to make it through the night. They were talking about taking off the life support and letting him go. Well, my husband was a fighter. The next morning, he woke up, not knowing anything, feeling great. And the first thing he said is, what day is this? And Mark said, it's Saturday. He goes, oh no, I forgot to send your mother roses. He's in the hospital, he can't breathe, and he wants to send me roses. So Mark told me this, and of course I was able to talk to him, we did a video chat, and he says, I'm okay. Well, he says, stay until Monday because that's when the flight was supposed to return. I got back on Monday, only to discover, this was December the 9th, they had discovered lung cancer. The pneumonia was so bad in his lungs that was the one thing they didn't think it was. They couldn't detect it through X-rays that they did every day. Mm-hmm. So on the 13th, he had an episode, and they put him on a CPAP machine with 100% oxygen, and he was struggling to survive. On December the 15th, he was still conscious all this time, but I mean, if he moved his finger, his oxygen levels dropped to the point that he was suffocating. So sadly, I knew I had to make a decision. I could not let him go on like this. So he could hear me, and I made him listen to me. I said, okay, there is 0% chance of you surviving. This is our reality. Okay. So you can either hang on and have a horrible heart attack or a stroke or suffocate to death, which is what they told us, or we can just take your oxygen away slowly and just kind of let you go peacefully. So we made the decision together to do that. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I don't regret that decision because we didn't get our miracle. And if it had been months later during COVID and I wasn't able to be in the hospital with him, it could have been much worse.
Right.
They said the chemo wouldn't work because he also had cirrhosis of the liver that they discovered while he was there. This man had been so ill, but such a fighter that until the last month or so, he didn't tell me any of this. So I couldn't be there when he passed away. I watched him suffer for those 31 days, but I have a very good friend who's also a teacher, and her 18-year-old and 22-year-old children decided they would go to the hospital and be there with Bill when he passed away, and they called me. So he wasn't alone. It's just I couldn't be there. I could not do that. My strength would not allow that.
Right, right. Your strength is incredible. And that's the thing I just wanted to also recognize, because and you and I had spoke, and we've been getting to know each other, and I have one more slide sequence that we're going to be talking about here soon, going into the future, and we've been getting to know each other a bit, and the thing that I just keep realizing is that you have the best attitude, such strength, just like, let's do this. And I'm going to ask, I told you I wasn't going to, I was going to let you volunteer, but you were going to say it anyway. So when you told me the very first time, or you said it in a meeting, I was like, and I'm seriously like getting close. Like I want to figure this out. How old are you?
I'm 71. I turned 71 on June 30th. But remember, age is just a number. In my head, my mind still thinks I'm 26. The body may not always agree with that, but the mind is more powerful than the body sometimes. And so I just keep, my copyrighted code is believe, don't dream big, dream bigger. The sky's the limit, so reach for the star. I just keep dreaming bigger, and I don't let anything get in my way. I don't hurt people in the process. I don't trample people to do that. But if it's something I can do to take a risk that's safe for me, hey, believe me, I'm going to do it. After my husband died, I actually joined a grief group like 2 weeks after that, because even though I know I'm a strong woman, this was something I couldn't prevent. And I knew I needed help. Well, of course, then the grief group had to shut down because of COVID. And then I have to admit, I've been going through a lot of grief. But as you know, I took a coaching class and I became a coach. So I'm just starting career number 3.
I love it. I love it. I want to clarify something, and then we're going to share something here too. And that is, let's see, Ruben clarified he was actually an independent contractor during that time, during anti-purgency,
Security, I guess. Security.
Yeah. Security. Okay, there you go. Okay, so, and we have many of our buddies, because our system, our buddies, we are buddies for not only those that are affected by cancer, but also those people that love and support them. So they right now are, of course, they're sharing their love with you, and want you to know, and I'm going to share a video here in a moment, that you are now an honorary buddy. Just let us know if you ever need us or want us to be with us, because benefits of being a healthy middle-aged man. He's so cool. Ruben, you are fun. I would never be able to write English without Randy's pats on the back. She's my American mama. Oh,
Yes.
I love this. Oh my goodness. What a gift right here. The gift of the present is today. Today we have been just given a gift. Wow. And we're calling it a present. Thank you for sharing. How do we say his name correctly?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
How do we say his name correctly?
Ayub Katie. By the way, Ayub and I have a Moroccan pen magazine together. He's the founder. I am the editor of it. And when he was in Morocco, he now lives in New York City, and he's going to the university up there. He's an amazing young man. But he started Morocco Pens as a magazine for non-native English speakers to write in English, and I edit it, and then we publish them. So these people that will never get another chance to be in a magazine get to be published because of the two of us. And so you have to check it out. It's called Morocco Pens. It's just amazing, and he works so hard. And he's like my son, by the way. When he immigrated to the United States, he lived with us for 6 weeks before he went to New York, because he wanted to. He needed to be in a big city so he could pursue his dreams. And Atlanta wasn't the right place for him at the time. So I'm very proud of him. And I am his American mama. I'm American mama to many people, but he's one of the very special ones. I love him so much.
I love this. We have to recognize him for what he's doing, and maybe have the two of you on talking about the magazine. Yes. Wouldn't that be great? The older I get, the more. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I met Bill in person. He was a great man. Yes. And Helene, thank you for welcoming him. I'm going to share right now a video that talks about the program, that the nonprofit that we have, and because we have a big event coming up, and letting people know that there is a resource for them to feel, well, we'll talk about it afterwards. Here we go.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a Chemo Buddy for Life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are Chemo Buddies for Life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Thank you. And the thing about this program, and that's why I wanted to share it today with you and others, is that we are here for those people that are affected by cancer, the patient, and also we're here for those that are the support people. And the thing that has been the most interesting is that there are some of the support people that they don't feel like they should be, quote unquote, a buddy. They've come in and maybe are a volunteer or something, and then because maybe the person gained their wings decades ago, yet then in doing the work, they have found that they still needed to heal through it. And when they finally were able to, it's like certain things came back to them, certain, joy came back, different things. And so wanted to, first of all, let you know, Randy, you are now an honorary buddy. We welcome you into the fold. Absolutely. Yes. And we'll invite you into the group, and anybody else that is looking to find someone, because like you were saying right now, especially, and we have opened up our doors for all of you to know we are international. We have people from all over the world, and we are, the one thing we don't have is translators right now. However, we also too have opened our arms and our love to those people that are affected by COVID and feeling isolated and alone, because we have this all set up, and we want people to feel healthy and happy and feel the love. So when you were mentioning about the support group and with COVID, that is a bit of an issue, isn't it?
Yes. It was very difficult. As I said, there were people there that had lost babies, in birth, and had still been grieving for 10 years. And I thought, I don't want to be one of those women. I have to move on. One of the things I promised Bill was that I would move forward. And he said, you can't be grieving over me. You've got to move forward. And I said, of course, that's easier said than done. But I am moving forward. I am starting new things. I'm always involved. I'm also an African animal advocate, and I work with a group in Kenya and one in Zimbabwe. So that's another one of my passions. I'm helping with animals. So I just love to spread myself all over and try to help where I can. Sometimes it becomes overwhelming, as you know. Being an impactor, it's overwhelming, but I think that's who we are, Tamara. We just have to be busy and serve people, and that's what my passion is to serve people and animals.
I was going to say, and it seems to be some feedback right now, and guys, I'm sorry if you're hearing it. That I did find some pictures, and I was going to share, but I wanted to recognize that, yes, you are global. You are globally making a difference. And I did see, and anybody that, because, if you're on Facebook or social media, you can go over, if you're friends with Randy, and see her pictures where there's like big cats, and they're like lions, and you're like touching, and I'm thinking, oh wow, okay. Bravery, and yes, and I think that picture was from Zimbabwe, right? And so you've been all over the place globally, so it makes total sense that you're a global achiever. And then you are also All Women's Rock, one of the red jacket recipients. And one of the things about it too, and you made it when very first time I was in a meeting with you, you were like, yes, I'm going to be one of the just a second here. I'm trying to get my cursor over in there. Okay, here we go. That you're going to be one of the co-hosts for an event coming up in June next year, right?
Yes, Carl Wilson has asked me to do that, and he strangely asked me to do that after about an hour of talking to him. And I said, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, I want you." I said, "Okay, I'm game. I'm in." Oh, yeah. He's an amazing man too. I know you got the red jacket. I watched you get your red jacket, by the way, live.
Yes, I recognized your name, yet we had not had an opportunity to meet yet. And that's one of the things I want to say to everyone out there right now, is that we had an opportunity to meet during this time called COVID. And we met in a Zoom room. We met at an event type of a situation, and people are still meeting. And I want to say that there are opportunities for people to get out there and really get involved in so many different things. And at some point in time, our minds are not going to remember. I'm not going to remember, was I in the room with Randy or what? Because I was in a room with Randy. It was a Zoom room, but I was in the room, and we had an opportunity to visit. And that's the thing I will always remember, because your smile and your enthusiasm and just everything about it, and I recognized your name because of the time that Carl did. I was walking, and he came over and presented me with the red jacket and the award. And yeah, Helena's saying, I thought you were 25 years old. Yeah, I know, right? And she's 20. You said you're 26, really? Is that what?
Well, in my head, 26,
right,
yes. So.
Right, 26.
I'm a year older, Helene.
Yeah, she's close. You're good. You're close. So, I before we start to close up, I want to recognize, because you have the award you talked about in Vegas, and you painted that one, but you have been recognized for years and years, decades and decades. You're a who's who of American educators. Back in 1980, Entrepreneur of the Year in Education, 2014, Top Female Executive, 2015, Humanitarian of the Year, the Worldwide Who's Who, Elite Members, 2015 Delegate, featured in multiple magazines, International Women's, VIP Women, year of 2015, National Association of Professional Women, International Association of Who's, 2015, Women of the Year Elite Member, your Strathmore Worldwide Who's Who, huge, Continental Who's Who in 2014, Pinnacle Professional Member, Teacher of the Month, on and on and on and on. In fact, I'm going to bring this back up, because we're going to go on. I mean, I just got a collection, and I mean, this one here, honorary membership, this is another language.
Yeah, that was from Ayub. Yeah, from his university, because I did things for the university.
And then the International Youth Society, that's so big for you. And this one here, that's beautiful. What is this?
I think that's my Educator of the Decade award that I just recently got.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah,
and I'm
very blessed.
Because you're serving. It's a servant's heart. You are definitely a service hero in every single way we can look at it. And there are so many opportunities for people to serve, right? I mean, really, all you need to do is look, and there you go. And I love the fact that you are a teacher by trade, because I do believe that teachers, number one, we need to say thank you to our teachers so much more. We need to value them so much more. And right now, more than ever, the trials and tribulations of being a teacher, and grade school, junior high school, college, yes, we've got issues there too. However, you think about having to be creative and keep them engaged, and help them educate our youth. We really need to recognize our teachers as a whole. So thank you for your service. You are truly service heroes. And then you started way back in the day getting involved beyond this classroom, and Entrepreneur of the Year. Now, did you have your own businesses? I mean, well, how does that all work?
Well, I guess that was because of the two schools that I opened. Like I said, they closed. But see, I do not consider them failures, because we did the best we could. The economy just didn't support them. But I learned so much. And someday I'd love to start another school somewhere, be another Oprah. She had her school in South Africa. And I would love to start another one someday. But I have to wait till the timing is right, and our world is calmer, and we don't have COVID, and things like that. But the idea of teaching English in another country, it's just so amazing. Like I said, my little nursery school, I actually wrote short stories and nursery rhymes geared to little Egyptian kids, and I was using them to teach the little 5-year-olds English and their parents. But again, it was Zoom, and my partner with that school, that was called 6 October Nursery, got so sick that we had to close the school. So it was partially a health-related thing with her, because I couldn't be there. But, I mean, you have to take risk, right? I'm not saying where you're going to endanger your life, but take risk if you're going to succeed. You have to, quote, dream bigger. And that's what I've always done all my life. And, my two favorite words are believe and dream. You put those together, you believe in yourself, and you dream, and anything is possible. And that's what I try to teach all of my friends, all of my students. When I was teaching, I not only taught English, but I tried to teach them life skills and moral values. Be a good person, be a good citizen. Go for your dreams, but don't hurt other people in the process. Take them along with you. A leader takes people along with them, You're one of those. You're a leader.
Well,
and you understand that perfectly, Tamara. I admire you so much, by the way. I had to say that before we ended this because this is such an honor for me to be on your show. You don't know how much it touched my heart. Seriously.
Oh, wow. Well, you are, I'm feeling the same about you. In fact, I'm so honored to be sharing your story because there are so many inspirational pieces to it to inspire others. And that's what this is all about right now. And in this time right now, September the 16th, 2020, we need inspiration more than ever. And what would you like to like if you could just leave a nugget for everybody, what would you like to say?
To never give up. We all go through obstacles. I told you earlier when we were talking, I had an accident in 2014 that broke 8 bones in my body, including my neck. I wore a neck brace for 93 days. I have an 8-inch plate and 6 pins in my arm. It doesn't bend anymore. I can only use one hand. But instead of those 8 months of physical therapy and the 93 days I wore my neck brace and the 6 months of my cast, I could have sat around and felt sorry for myself and cried a lot. No, I had used this one hand and I wrote a 400-page novel that I hope to publish soon. I just haven't done it yet. So what I did is I traveled all around the world because I've been in 60 countries. So I put my friends from Facebook in the stories, went to some of the countries that I've been in, researched things, had a great adventure. The mind traveled so that the body didn't feel the pain. So, you can always get over all your obstacles, even physical pain,
Mm-hmm.
And these young people that think I'm in a country where I don't have any opportunities, find a way to get out of the country to go somewhere else. And they have. We have sponsored 8 Egyptians and Moroccans in our home that have migrated here, that immigrated here legally. They found ways and they have new lives here. It's amazing. You can do anything you want, but you have to have the right mindset.
That's right.
You sit around and go, woe with me, nothing's going to change.
Well, you definitely are a service hero. You have lived a life. And as we close, I want to recognize that life. I want to be able to say that today on the Service Hero Show, September the 16th, 2020, 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. Randy D. Ward, you are definitely a service hero. We have made the case. You are inspiring so many people throughout the world. And you have that attitude of one person at a time and getting in, help them to find that they can believe, that they can dream and they can believe in themselves. And in doing that, they can achieve. They can find a way to win, get out there, make their life better, and it will continue to make many more. That's what a teacher does. You are an international example of an amazing service hero teacher that is inspiring so many, including myself. And so I want to say thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for all your amazing words. I'm feeling a little shy right now. I'm surprised my face hasn't turned red. Red is one of my colors, though, so it'll be okay.
Yeah, no, you are gorgeous. And you know what? Thank you, Sally, for working with us and keeping the lights on and keeping the electricity on. We recognize that too, because, don't take anything for granted these days. All right. Well, I will be back on Friday with the Service Hero Show, the same place, the same time. And on that day, we have Stephanie Dwayne out of Florida, a creator of a nonprofit that has now gone on and she is doing so many things for so many. Just, I'm not going to tell you more than that. You got to show up because you're going to love her as much as I do. All right, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.